Merrill, thank you very much for joining us. And first off, we just want to know, how are you doing? How's your family doing so far?
So far, so good. Everybody in my world is healthy. I haven't experienced it. I haven't experienced any of the virus kind of firsthand. Nobody in my family, nobody in my extended family, kind of my inner circle, nobody's contracted it and nobody's kind of sick. So on that end, cross our fingers, everything's good to go for now. Other than that, just trying to stay busy as I can, trying to stay in shape as I can, and just playing some golf when I get a chance to as well.
How have you been able to stay in shape, like you're saying? Have you been able to train, to throw it all?
Yeah, I've been fortunate. My trainer that I work out with in the off season down here is keeping his doors open for a very select few of us that need to get our work in. So we kind of get in there in the morning. There's only the group that I go in, he keeps it in waves. The group that I go in, there's only 3 of us in there at a time. So we kind of just get in, get our stuff done, and kind of get out. So I've been pretty lucky. I know guys are finding parks and anything that they can. I've been pretty lucky so far that I can get in there.
And what's this break from baseball been like for you? How are you handling quarantine after, just about a month?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you, it sucks. You work all off season for the season to start, especially at the timing that everything kind of got put on hiatus with being right in the middle of spring training. Everybody's starting to ramp up, starting to get excited. Opening day is kind of right around the corner. Then it kind of came to a screeching halt. So it's not fun. We enjoy our job very much. It's part of what we do. So you're just trying to manage your excitement. I've been playing a lot of the MLB The Show, just kind of get my baseball fix, I guess I would say. But yeah, it's definitely not ideal, but you just try to look at the bigger picture. And obviously we can't play baseball, but the fact that the world, and there's a lot of people out there that are way worse off than just not being able to play baseball. So you kind of got to keep that in perspective at the same time.
Have you been watching any Netflix shows or doing any different hobbies that you usually don't want to be doing in the middle of April?
Yeah, really anything that doesn't include being in season, I guess you could put into that category. Yeah, but me and my wife, we've hammered out some Netflix. What's the most recent we watched? We watched Ozarks. We like that show a lot. But yeah, there's pretty much a different show and a different movie on almost every night.
Okay, and then last week there was a reported proposal for Major League Baseball about all the teams playing all games in Arizona, from spring training venues to Chase Field, a lot of double headers, 7-inning games. As a guy who's been in the league for a couple of years, what was your reaction to that? And did you talk to any of your teammates about that as well?
Yeah, I haven't really spoken too much about it. I've read all the proposals, but to me right now, that's kind of all they are. It's just proposals. I think everybody wants to play the season, and I think that the league and the players, are trying their best to try to make something work and try to find something that works. But as far as all the logistics and all that stuff, I'm trying not to get too excited about it. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself. Just to remember that they are ideas and they are proposals. So once, things start becoming a little more official, then I'll probably start giving a little bit more weight.
Okay. And as an ASU grad, the college season obviously was hit same way as you guys, but they were already going. And for a guy like Spencer Torkelson on this current ASU team, he was just 2 home runs away from tying the all-time record at ASU for a career with obviously about 35 games to go. Yeah. And he's one of the top projected picks for the draft. If his career is over, just seems like a shame. But overall, what's your idea of anything this might do to college baseball and to guys like him who kind of left, their careers unfinished potentially?
Yeah, it's like I said earlier. It's not ideal. It really sucks that he won't be able to get those 2 more home runs because obviously, like you said, he's a big time draft prospect. I'm sure he'll be, from what I understand, he'll be drafted in the top couple picks. So it stinks for him that he doesn't get to get that record. Because with 35 games left and only 2 home runs to go, probably from the sounds of him, I haven't seen him play too much, but I've heard all about him. So from the sounds of him, I'm sure he would have been able to accomplish that and then some. So it's unfortunate that he doesn't get to do that, and especially being in your last season at college, it's a special season. you've spent 3 years there with those guys. They've built relationships, that'll last for the rest of their lives. So the fact that their season gets cut short, I think is the biggest detriment. But I'm sure he's probably focused on what the next step is. I'm sure he's focused on, whatever the draft is going to look like this year. I'm sure he's focused on that. And I'm sure he's probably focused on taking the next step, probably in his development, in his career.
What would your reaction be to playing games without fans? I know that's been one of the proposals, and it's been talked about in, all different sports right now. What would you think about that? Would it change how you interact with guys or how you change anything?
No, I think it would probably be business as usual, because we love playing baseball. It's what we do. So if we can get on the field and play, I think regardless if there were fans in the stands or not, I think guys would probably want to do it. It would definitely be a different dynamic. It'd be a little quieter in Chase Field, stadium built for 50,000. It's with nobody in there. It'd probably be a little eerie. You'd be able to hear a lot more conversations that go on in the dugout and on the field and that type of stuff. But honestly, I think the fans would love it. I think at this point, we just want to play and they want to watch some baseball. So as long as we could televise it and we could play, I think it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
And obviously spring training is very important in getting guys, physically ready for the haul of a long season. How long do you think it would take pitchers specifically to get ready if the MLB announced tomorrow that the games were going to be resuming?
That's a tough question, because everybody kind of is in different spots right now. The toughest thing is it's with things so much up in the air that guys don't really know kind of the workload that they should be doing right now. I've talked to guys that are throwing, 3 days a week. I've talked to guys that are throwing bullpens twice a week, and kind of anywhere in between there. So I think as organizations, they would obviously put health at the forefront of that. I would say, just to give a ballpark, I would say at least a month to get built back up for especially the starting pitchers, I think would be the biggest issue when it comes to kind of speeding up things, just because we need to get built back up. We need to get back up to 5-6 innings before we start games, or at least typically, so I think it would probably minimum, I think we're probably looking at a month of practice before we actually start strapping it on and playing some real games.
And what's been the weirdest part, or maybe what you miss most so far about baseball after being without it for about a month?
Probably just, other than just not being able to play the game and, and do our job, just being around the guys, being around the clubhouse, kind of all the goofiness and jokes and all that stuff that goes along with being on a team and being around guys every single day. I'd probably say other than just the games, that for sure.